Welcome. I'm Brentan, and I'm going to guide us through a short sequence to build strength and integration in the upper body. You might choose to do this because you're working towards more arm balances and inversions, and so you want to feel that integration. But you might also pursue this practice because you feel structurally unsound in the upper body. Strengthening this area will help us integrate and correct any postural misalignments that we carry around with us through our days. So when you're ready, we'll get started in tabletop position. Layer the hands right down underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Give a nice spread to the fingers, but don't max them out. Push your floor down and forward, hug your forearms toward each other. The hugging towards each other should reverberate all the way up through the arms into the upper side waist. If you don't know what your upper side waist is, it's right here, the side waist, right below your armpits. So right kind of like where your rib cage is, hug your ribs in towards the spine. Now from here, we're going to move into a modified plank position. The way I like to do that actually is to take my knees just ever so slightly back, then lean the pelvis ever so slightly forward, catch it with my belly, and then the shoulders should be leaning more towards the fingernail side of the hands. Charge the hands more, reach the heart way out, and lengthen both side waist out of the pelvis. Here's the first thing here. You can hold this, or if you feel pretty stable, come up to your right fingertips. Try to keep your whole chest framing the mat as it is. We're going to pick the right hand up, touch it to the left bicep. When you're ready, return the right hand to the floor. Even out the pose a little bit here. Lean the heart more forward. I lost it a little bit. It's all good. Take the left fingertips. Come up to the left fingertips. Hug the side waist in. Stay nice and lifted. Take the left hand to the right bicep. Try to take this heat and distribute it. When we build heat in the upper body, it tends to go right to the skull. So we want to see if we can distribute this so we don't get super hot-headed or feeling really like roaring. Left hand down. We're going to stay in our modified plank with the knees down for this first one. So come back, build the structure of it. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Shoulders come to elbow height. Inhale, press up. Exhale, go down. Inhale, go up. Exhale, go down. Inhale up. Good, child's pose. Press the pelvis on back, stretch down. And in between all of our sets of arm strengtheners in this short practice, we can take a little shoulder opening. So maybe you take the hands together behind your back. If this doesn't feel good, pause the video, grab a strap or a belt from your closet and hold on to that behind you, just so you can get the chest open. Maybe you rock it a little bit left and right. This should be your time to really settle into your face, feel good, so you're not carrying any residue from one set to the next. Come back into your hands. And this time we'll meet in a high plank. So now that we've warmed up with our modified plank, modified chaturangas, we're going to step the feet back, get the hips at the same height as the shoulders, root out through the heels. Stay on the right hand. We're going to open to side plank position. So we're going to stack the left foot on top. If this is too much for you, take the left foot just to the floor in front of you. That's a nice way to modify. Take the shoulders on the back. Lengthen the side waist evenly. Good. Stretch the left arm overhead. Take the left hand down to the floor. High plank. Side plank on the other side. Take the right arm overhead, and when you're ready, take the right hand down. Frame the body to the yoga mat, high plank position. Drop your knees for a little break. Tuck your toes under, sit back onto your heels, roll out your shoulders. Let the breath soften and deepen here. And the point is not to get the pose exactly right. The point is just to try. The point is just to practice. And hopefully we're finding things in life that we enjoy practicing consistently, day in and day out, so that you can watch yourself change and evolve over time. That's really the beauty of this, is when you watch the change happen, you're able to participate more with it and create the type of change that will actually get you living the life that you want to live. We're going to come back to plank. So feel nice and steady here. We're going to do the same thing that we did with our knees down. So if you want to take the knees back down for support, you can. Come up to the right fingertips. And then lift the right hand, take it to the left bicep. It's not perfect, don't worry about it. Right hand down, charges up the forearms a lot. So when you're ready, come onto the left fingers. Okay, keep the heart framing to the mat, use your muscles, take the left hand to the right bicep. And go down. Take an inhale, lean your chest forward. Exhale, chaturanga, pause. Inhale up. Exhale down. Down to the ground. Release. Okay, from here, take your elbows in front of you. We're going to create like a half diamond shape with the hands a little bit. So first, just relax. Make sure you feel good in the body that's on the ground. Clap your hands together. Press the pinky side edge of your hand down and forward. Take the shoulder blades together on the back. Lengthen your side waist out of your pelvis. Pull your navel up and back. Lift your skull. And then if you want, this is totally optional, you can lift your legs. Now keeping this, we're going to try to see if we can keep the integration, the framing of the upper body. So it's not just about brute strength, but it's about how the different pieces of the body connect and converse with each other. So we're going to try to keep this whole shape. Stretch your left hand back. Take the right hand back down. Gather the pose. Press it down. Take the left hand back. Take the left hand back down. Lift up. And now take the arms to parallel. You can even scooch back on your mat if you're half on the floor like I am. Take your arms more to parallel, fingers wide but not maxed out, and we'll come up to forearm plank. So the shoulders are going to stay lifted over the elbows. Lift the pelvis, lift the belly, root out through the heels, lengthen the side waist forward towards the armpit space. One at a time, lower the knees. And then press back, child's pose. In this child's pose, just extend your arms nice and long. Maybe even lift onto tented fingers so that the wrists lift. Forearms are lifted, upper arms lifted. Press the floor down and forward, stretch the upper back. Come up to a seated position. And we'll work on our dolphin. So you can layer your elbows down underneath the shoulders, not wider. The first dolphin, if you can, take the forearms parallel. But some people have issues just in how the biomechanics of the bones are, rooting the whole palm down to the ground. So if that's you, do interlock your hands instead. So you have two choices here. Lengthen your knees back just a little bit, away from your elbows. So push your forearms down and forward. Activate the belly to the spine. Wave it out through the skull. Press down. Squeeze the sticks of the upper arms toward each other. Upper side waist toward each other. But broaden the space of the shoulder blades and the collarbones. Shoulder blades and collarbones broad. Everything else squeezing in to center. Tuck your toes. Lift up and back, dolphin. Now your legs don't need to go straight. You adjust how close the toes are to the elbows. And if you can, we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lightly drop down to the knees. Take a seat back with your toes tucked under, so you keep the soles of the feet awake. When we focus so much on the upper body, we still want to keep conversing through the whole system so everything feels unified. So depending on how that dolphin went, you might want to just stick with the one that we just did and take that again. But if that felt okay, and dolphin typically feels okay for you, I'll add in another component to it. So you can start by layering the forearms back down where they were, knees back, and we'll start with maybe the right side first. So you're going to keep your shoulders right over your elbows, and just kind of like how we did in that plank pose where we lifted an arm and we try to stay stable in the chest, lift your right arm, step it back, halfway between your left elbow and your knee, but it's on the right side. So this is a chaturanga arm, and when you layer it back here, it should feel more or less like the elbow is lifting up over the wrist. Now you want to frame the heart to the mat, squeeze in, and sometimes it might just take all of your attention to build a foundational integrated situation here. So you can always work here. I typically like to feel my side waist lengthening out of my pelvis evenly. That gives me a good indication that the shoulders are set well, or at least evenly. Stay here or tuck the toes, lift up dolphin. We'll try to be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop down to the knees, nice and easy. Sit back onto the heels. Interlock the hands behind you, open the chest. And you know what also might feel good? Check it out, I don't know. It's like arms open, like wings, like take me, something like that. Just to get the front of the chest, we want to explore strengthening, stretching, strengthening, stretching, so that by the time we're done with this, you don't feel tired, you don't feel fatigued, you don't feel overworked, you actually feel really great. So let's do the other side. Again, if you are sticking with both forearms down, stick with both forearms down, perfect place. Otherwise, let's layer. I guess we did that last time. We layered both forearms down so that we could get the shoulders over the elbows. And we get that nice alignment in this knees down position. And then we can take the left hand back about halfway between the right elbow and the right knee, but on the left side of the yoga mat. Hug the elbow in like chaturanga, and then frame the heart to the floor. Lengthen the side waist evenly out of the pelvis. Your core is active in this. Notice how your upper body is really nothing without conversating with the rest of the body. Tuck the toes, lift up and back. Dolphin. We'll try to be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Drop to the knees. Roll on up to a seated position. And those are the exercises. So I would recommend, if this practice is feeling really good for you, rewind the video and do it again. Then you can follow through to the stretches that we'll do now. If that was enough, then just go forward from here. Keep the hips over the knees, and then walk forward to puppy. So you're walking yourself all the way forward. Some people's heads will come to the floor, some people's won't, so you just play into what feels good for you. Pushing the floor down and away. Walking the hands back underneath the shoulders one at a time, lifting up. We're going to take the big toes together, splay the knees out a little bit wide, sit back. And we're gonna take a twisted child's pose. So we'll thread the needle. We can start by taking the right arm underneath the left. If you're tighter in the shoulders, you might just like this forearm version and you open your heart. But if you're a little bit more open, slide down to the shoulder. Maybe you rest your ear. I like to rotate my left elbow to the sky so that I can start to feel that shoulder blade move more towards the center of my spine. When you're ready, take the right hand to the floor and thread the other way. When you're ready, root down through there. Come back up to a nice, comfortable seated position. And this is where we'll close our practice today. So we just want to come to a nice, easy seat, shoulders back, lift through the sideways, lift the skull up and back. And in fact, to open up the upper back, thread your hands behind your skull, let your skull rest up and back into your hands. Use your hands to pull your skull up and back, widen the elbows, open through the collarbones. Release your hands down to your lap. Take a big inhale through your nose. Open mouth, release. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, release. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, let it go. Joining the hands together at the heart, chin bows down. Namaste.